can't read. Books.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to My Wife's Smutty Books, a podcast where my wife tells me about her hot books and I give my hot takes. Now, I'm joined with my lovely Emily Bohatch, and as I promised last time, we didn't get as many followers as I expected, so I promised to eat pretzels into the mic.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I didn't think you would follow through. I was wondering what these pretzels were for.
I forgot about it until just now.
Oh, no. The look on your face when you did that, you were so calm and stoic. I was like, what's wrong? Like,
Dude,
what's going on?
What are you doing with those
We
pretzels?
just had dinner. Well, we needed to start this.
I got you this pretzel. You take it away.
We needed to start this podcast with a little bit of a laugh because this week we're talking about Alchemised by SenLinYu, and quick spoiler alert up top: if you've not read Alchemised, you need to put this podcast down, go pick up the book, and come back when you're finished. The reason why we needed to laugh is because this book is fucking depressing. Like, oh my god.
So this is okay. Other housekeeping note. This is the first book in our podcast that we've both read. Is that correct?
Yes. So it's the first one we both read, so we'll both have something to contribute and talk about here, and the format's going to be a little bit different. The other thing we're doing a little bit differently is this book is so long and it has so much good detail that we're going to be splitting this into 2 episodes.
Alrighty. So now that we have done some of the housekeeping measures, again, it's going to be a little bit different because we both read it, so I'm not going to be so much cold reacting to the things that Emily tells me, just more so going back and forth and more just like the girlies chit-chat and drinking a glass of Chardonnay or something.
Yeah, so a little bit less of, my husband learning about my smutty books and a little bit more girls just being girls,
Yeah, and this book is not, I feel like smutty is a bit of a misnomer for this because there is some romance, but this is not a smutty book. Let's start with
I don't like
rating.
it. Yeah. You know what? Since you read it, let me turn it, flip it, and reverse it on you. What is your pepper rating on this book?
I'd say 1.
A 1?
Yeah, I'd say it's 1. I mean, like, there is romance, there is, like, sexual tension. It does exist, but I think it's just so overshadowed by everything else in the book and everything else about their relationship that it's really hard to be like, oh, I'm turned on by this when everything is so fucked.
Yeah, I feel like 1 is, like, closed door romance, though. Like, this was, like, open door romance, like, not super specific, but open door. So I don't know. I feel like maybe on the spicy scale, like, it's, like, a 2, but, like, there are times where it is describing the deed and you're like, I don't want to be part of this conversation. Please make it stop.
Yeah, maybe I need to read a 5 just for my scale.
Oh, we can make that happen.
Yeah, we should. It's got to be a good book, though.
I know, because, like, I can't just, like, put you on some Katie Robert and you're going to complain about it. You're such a, like, literature snob.
I'm not a snob. I just, like, if I'm going to spend, like, 20 hours doing it, I would want to enjoy it.
Fair enough. So let's get going with the book. At the opening, our main character, Helena, is awakening from some kind of stasis. And it kind of gives, like, the scene from where they escape the Matrix. Like, he sits up in the bath, and he's, like, gasps out. Like, that is kind of what it reminded me of.
Okay,
like, that's the image that I had in my head in the first couple pages of the book.
See, and that is, like, the most influential movie or any work of art I've ever watched or consumed, and I didn't even think of that.
Oh,
but
really?
It makes perfect sense to me, yeah.
Yeah. So, we learned that before the war, Helena was part of this divine order called the Eternal Flame, and she served the royal house, the Holdfasts, and worked at the Alchemy Institute, which is the institute that the Holdfasts founded. The guild is the other end of things. These are families that are the head of industry. They banded together to overthrow the Holdfast, and they launched the city-state of Palladia into a giant civil war, a multi-year civil war. I think it ends up being like 6 or 7 year civil war.
It feels so much longer than that.
It does. It really. I know, like, each chapter ends up being like a month, but it feels like it goes on and on.
Oh yeah, because they use those weird names for the months. I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, like Junius, Julius.
Like, I'm like, is it now or is it in the past? I'm like, one of the two, and I'm like, it's pretty linear. It's broken like that. But other than that, it's pretty linear.
Yeah. It's broken into 2 timelines. Part 1 and Part 3 are in the same timeline, and Part 2 is earlier. It's a flashback injected in the middle. The other thing that everybody needs to know is ultimately...
Luke smokes opium.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Is it Luce or Luke?
Luke.
I thought it was Luke, but his full name's Lucian.
Yeah, but...
Lucius or something.
Like, Lush sounds like...
Lush douche? Lush the douche?
You're jumping the gun. So ultimately, the guild, which is headed by a group of alchemists, and they are led by someone who unlocked the secret of eternal life. He's called the High Necromancer, Moro. They won the war, killing the last of the royal family that Helena was serving. Or so we think at the beginning. And this is what they tell Helena when she comes out of stasis. The last thing she remembers is being in the middle of the war, and then she wakes up 17 months later after the war is already lost. 14 months. I have it in my notes right here. I don't know why I just pulled 17 out.
Get it together. Emily.
So it turns out she's been in stasis for 14 months. So as the new order is being established, she totally messed out.
They just pickle her in a jar. They put her in... She
pretty much.
Slides into the Clausen's factory, and they just pop her in one of those jars, put her in the fridge.
I don't know about you, I felt so behind the game reading the beginning of this book because there was so much background that the main character was alluding to that we just don't know yet because of the way that this book is written.
See, I'm surprised to hear you say that because I was behind on things. I didn't feel behind because the character had amnesia. So I was like, we're just behind. I'm like, oh, it's going to be one of those books where we just learn as we go. There's other fantasy books I felt more overwhelmed with where it's like various different sorts of nouns that I don't bother to Google. And I'm like, what's this? What's that? And it kind of stacks up over time. And I'm like, what are we?
You need a glossary.
Yeah, I know. I don't like a glossary. I mean, it's useful, but I don't like it.
Yeah. I think what made me feel behind is it felt like we were walking into what would ordinarily come after the fantasy series. It felt like this is the resolution. This is after the war. So many good fantasy books are focused on some magical war and we're starting at the end of it. So the new ruling class has to figure out what to do with Helena. She's the last living member of the Order of the Eternal Flame, and something strange has happened to her. Someone has used alchemical powers to alter her mind and block some things from her consciousness. Like you were saying, she has amnesia. So there's a lot of things that she can't remember about the war. I mean, really her brain is just going through the motions of being a healer at the hospital. And then it's just, she describes it as it's just endless hospital shifts in her head, but none of the in between. So after weeks of testing her and sticking these rods that block her alchemical powers as a vivimancer into her wrist.
Yeah, everything in this book's got to be real fucked up. They got to take it, jam it right through her fucking wrist and wrap it around and be like, yeah, that hurts, doesn't it? It's just got to be real fucking yucky the whole time. Everything is just gonna make you squirm. It's just you like. How about them apples? How about a peel?
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Nasty. And not in a good way either. Just
no.
yucky.
And there's
no
resolution to it in the end because she's permanently disfigured by them doing this.
Yeah, it's like she has gauges, except they're
in her wrists. Yeah,
they stop her from using her magic powers.
Yeah. So they decide to deliver her to an alchemist known as the High Reeve to decipher the information hidden in her mind. They drive Helena out to the country manor of the High Reeve, and when Helena finally meets him, she recognizes him from the
I'm just a simple High Reeve. You can call me the Low Reeve if you want. We like to keep it pretty unpretentious around here. Now, I need to go get my seersucker suit. We're having pulled pork.
I don't think that he's unpretentious at all. He's actually
marmalade on it, but I'm just that's the High Reeve. I'm the Low Reeve. You don't gotta be high. Got friends in low places. Maybe just make yourself comfortable. Would you like some sweet tea? Maybe some lemonade.
That's how I wish this book went. This is the High Reeve is so much more nightmare fuel.
I do feel like they both join the Confederacy, though.
You really think that poorly of the Eternal Flame? I mean, we'll get there, but
no. I'm talking about
the High Reeve and the Low Reeve.
The High Reeve and the Low Reeve. Yeah, the two characters. The one in the book, the one in Perry.
Yeah.
He'd be like, well,
one is the South will rise again, and the other one's thinking of That guy, who was that guy who did J. Marion Sims, who did like all the experiments on the gynecological experiments?
Oh no,
on
that's
black
that's the scientist in this, the Shao Tucker stand-in, that the creep who like makes the chimeras.
Oh yes, Bennett.
Yeah, well, I mean, they talk about this beginning of the book, but she blows his lab up.
Yeah, she does. So when she makes her way there, she realizes that she recognizes the High Reeve from the Alchemy Institute. His name is Cain Farron. But something strange has happened since Helena saw him in class. All the color has leached out of his body.
He's all fucked up.
And this is our Draco Malfoy stand-in, because remember, this book started off as Draco Hermione fanfiction.
Yeah, I heard that one. That turned me off to it, because Harry Potter's fine. I liked it as a kid, but it turned me off.
You haven't read the first 2 books. I don't think you're allowed to say anything about
That's
it.
Fine, I don't give a shit. Something tells me J.K. Rowling would dislike this author for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
But yeah, I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like hokey and dumb. And I started reading, and it was like, it's real fucked up, man. Everything's dead. There's fucking, some got a chair made out of bodies.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, there's blood and
like Voldemort wishes he was this fucked up.
Everything hurts so fucking bad.
Yeah. Voldemort wishes he was Morrow, because like Morrow's fucked up.
Voldemort irritates me. He's just like, it's like, dude, what are you trying to sing for a band in the 90s? Like, no, dude, you just like, come on.
Cain Farron came from a rich but new money guild family. They were involved in the iron trade, and Cain went to the academy and competed with Helena neck and neck for first and second place in their class. They never really interacted, but their names would have been familiar to one another. Cain Farron is also a vivimancer, but he's like wickedly powerful. He's so powerful that he can possess a body and peer into their mind.
Can he do that before all the crazy shit happens? Can he do that like right off the rip when he's at the academy?
I think he can look in, but he can't like browse the way that he does at this point. Because I remember the first time that they meet, like in part 2, like he does that. He like tries to peer into her mind, and then it's teaching her how to like protect herself. I think Morrow and Bennett like teach him how to do it, and that's how he knows how to do it. And I think he just gets stronger like as the book goes on. So indeed, he flips through Helena's thoughts and memories like looking through a magazine. Cain is also married. It's a political marriage to a woman named Aurelia, and she's the absolute fucking worst. Like zero.
No, she's not the worst. She sucks, but she's
not
the
okay.
worst.
I'm hype. As a figure of speech, she's the worst. Like, she just... There's very few redeeming qualities for Aurelia. But Aurelia does not like that Helena is being housed with them, while Cain searches her mind for Eternal Flame's secrets, and she goes out of her way to torment Helena, like, you know, feeding her, like, boiled scraps of food, and, like, putting her in blood red dresses, even though, like, the blood color freaks her out.
Ah, I'm scared.
Cain, in turn, is very, very frosty towards Helena. The first session of him peering into her...
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Headcanon, he looks like Asterion from Baldur's Gate.
Oh!
Remember I was telling you there's a character I'm reading? He looks like Asterion from Baldur's Gate. He talks like him. He's always got that upturned nose.
Yeah,
He's like,
where he's kind of like mean and nasty all the time.
He is mean and nasty. He's also... But I've been through so many things. My backstory's really fucked up.
I see it. I see it.
Yeah,
like the trauma.
Well, he's like all white and stuff. You know, he's like all pale, and I'm like, he's obviously he's like an attractive guy because he's ends up being the male love interest. So of course he's hot and got abs. But like,
they never say he has abs. They say he's skinny.
If he's skinny, he's got abs. Also, he's a warrior.
No, you can be like stick skinny and not have abs.
A guy like that who is a warrior is going to have abs.
But the problem is their bodies are unchanging because they're undying, right? Like, he's been locked. Because remember at the beginning when she meets him, she says that he hasn't aged since he was 16. Like, he looks like a skinny 16-year-old. She describes him as being, like, uncomfortably skinny. And they don't change. So, like, I feel like no matter how much, like, iron he's pumping, like, his body can't be changing. I think, like, because it's stuck in that state that it's been in the day of the undying. Now, later, like, because of... you know, the processes that she does to him, he ages up a little bit, but I don't think he ever really gets truly, like, to have an adult body.
Fair enough.
Okay. The first session of him peering into her mind sends Helena into a week-long brain fever. Cain is furious about the side effects, yelling at another member of the ruling class that he can't be expected to achieve the results assigned without potentially killing Helena before learning the secrets. Asshole. The next day, he takes Helena out to the manor's courtyard to get some air and recover. While out there, he shows her a newspaper story about her capture, which they publish to try to bring out any remaining members of the Eternal Flame. Helena hates being used as a pawn this way and tries to escape, but it doesn't really work out for her. Because the house is made completely of iron, and he's an iron magnet. His resonance goes with iron.
The low reeve would never put you in the paper. We just put you on the hook like a little worm and cash you in the pawn bag. We'll get you a little lawn chair. We'll have you sit out there nice. Maybe we'll just have come out and rub your shoulders and just take it nice and slow. No need to be.
The low reeve,
you know what? The war's over, Emily.
The low reeve wouldn't put her in the paper. The low reeve would gossip to all his friends, but then it insist oh, the good Lord says not to gossip. So I wasn't gossiping.
Oh, what a poor child. She's just been through so much. Lord knows she's better at my place. She's better at my...
That's creepy. Now you're making him creepy.
Oh, I'm making him creepy. The low reeve has to be creepier or he's not a reeve. The high reeve is creepier.
Fair enough. So, when Kane finally allows Helena to come back in, she manages to steal his newspaper. The date at the top shocks her. She hasn't realized that at this point... in the book, there have been 19 months of wartime that she couldn't remember. Her memories were locked away by some secret eternal flame procedure. So there's fully almost 2 years totally locked out of her brain. Helena also reads that Kane has been accused of killing the head of the royal house, her best friend's dad. This is Apollo Holdfast. And Apollo Holdfast's death kicked off the war.
Do I feel like the holdfasts are very Greek-coded? I'm sorry I keep interrupting you, but my mind works a little slow.
No, all of the previous ones are named after stars or suns. So there's Orion.
Yeah. That's why
there's
Greek-coded because it's the
Like Orion, Apollo. I don't really know.
Maybe it's Roman. I don't know.
I haven't looked into Lucian if Lucian has some historical context that has to do with the star or the sun. But
he's got that fucked up eye and he's always getting heartbroken.
Yeah, I think it's because Sol is their patron god of the house.
The sun.
So I think
Praise
that's why
the sun.
I think that's why they're all named that kind of thing. During a later session, Helena asks Kane if he killed the previous leader, Apollo.
Next question.
He tells her that the High Necromancer personally requested that he kill Apollo.
Could have just said no.
He doesn't. I mean, he's what?
Just
why would he lie?
Remembering.
Why would he lie? He has no incentive to lie to her.
Yeah, but also
they won. Who cares?
If you're a criminal, you just don't talk about it.
He's not a criminal. He's a ruling class.
He's a war criminal.
He's to who? Who's holding them accountable? No one.
Well, I mean...
And not until years later.
Well, I don't think they have the Hague, but I do think that some people are kind of mad about all the bad stuff he did.
Who is there left to be mad?
Oh, yeah, I mean, that is a good point. They killed almost everybody, but there's still some surviving people who, were probably, bystanders or were hey, we used to...
It's never discussed in the book.
Now, I say the low reeve is not happy about that.
Okay. So, the High Necromancer had been gathering followers from some time before Kane killed Apollo, and he needed the country to be destabilized before he could make his moves. Kane allegedly used his Vivimancer powers to pull Apollo's heart from his chest, which is
extra. Why did he have to do that? I know he had to, there's a reason why later he had to do it like that, but you didn't have to rip it out in front of the guy.
Yeah.
You could have just lopped his head off Viltrumite style and then just popped it out when you were done. You didn't have to Kalima! And do the whole Indiana Jones thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it would be surprising, right? Because Apollo would have known him as a student, and he could just walk right up and just hey, what's up, man? He's gonna shake his hand and then just right in there.
It's what was it? Kill Bill, the 5-finger exploding heart. Did you ever see that movie?
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking more Kalima, you know?
Yeah, Kalima.
Yeah.
It definitely would. It was scary Kalima. Why did you have to be so extra about it? Yeah. See, that's where I think that this book can be sometimes it gets a little too edgy for its own good because it's I know that look, he doesn't kill the guy for no reason. We get into it later, and again, we can do spoilers if we want because we did a spoiler warning up top, but you didn't have to do it like that, and also I think it's a little unrealistic for the first time you kill a man in cold blood to just rip his heart out of his chest,
Yeah, but it makes sense for Kane Farron's character, right? Because Kane Farron, and when he explains this later, is he is purely driven by a need for revenge. He doesn't care about anyone. He doesn't care about making this a more nice experiment of trying to kill someone in the least painful way possible. He's just doing it to achieve his own ends as quickly as possible.
Well, that's not.
And at
not
this
yet.
point, he's doing it because he's trying to save his mom. So he's just like, I imagine he goes back to school, puts his head down, and like immediately just goes after Apollo. And you remember, he has to also have that element of surprise because Apollo has his paladins who are like sworn to protect him. So you have to catch him in a moment where his paladins aren't around and like aren't going to try to fight you.
Sure. I just feel like it might only take an extra second or two to. It just seems it's one of those things where it's like he goes from 0 to 1,000, and at that point his mom's not dead yet.
Yeah.
He still needs to save his mom.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's traumatized and completely consumed. He's consumed by
like,
desperation, but not revenge yet.
Yeah.
I don't think he's. I also don't think he's like fully broken bad at that point either. I think we get into this in later in the book. Is that like he wasn't born evil?
No,
he's not like a born to be violent, like John Wayne Gacy sort of guy.
Yeah, and one of the things that I wrote down when I was reading this is like this is a part where I remembered that this started as Harry Potter fan fiction because this is like when Voldemort made the unbreakable vow with Draco Malfoy to kill Dumbledore.
It's like when Voldemort comes into Harry Potter's house and just kills his parents with a fucking chainsaw. He's like, I had to do it, man. There's no other way I couldn't do the killing curse. I had to make it extra gnarly and nasty.
That's what like this probably started off as because like this book
what
is
if I make it real
nasty.
fucked up and just
yeah. Like what if I made it more fucked up? But no, what I'm saying is like this. It's like Morrow's Voldemort. Draco and Kane are the same, and like they make this like you have to go kill Dumbledore. Like you can't get out of this. There's no way of getting out of it. So this is like what I remember. Oh yes, this is Harry Potter fan fiction.
And I'm not to drag this out even further. With Harry Potter, I always felt like Draco was a spoiled brat and like kind of useless, kind of just like a dumb rich kid. I don't feel that way about Kane Farron. I feel like he's very competent.
Yes.
I don't feel like if you didn't tell me this was a Harry Potter fan fiction, I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because I also don't really think Helena is like that much.
Like Hermione?
I think there's some common ground, but like...
Yeah, like she's smart like Hermione and she's got curly hair, but like what are the other like one-to-ones? And her parents like... At first, we're led to believe that her parents like don't have any resonance. So like same as Hermione, like her parents are muggles. But yeah, it's just like... I don't know. And there's like the whole like superiority between like the guild families and the like non-guild people that the Holdfasts bring in. So that's like the Muggle born versus the like purebloods like in Harry Potter. But I mean, yeah, there's not a ton of similarities here. And I'll point them out as we go along. So for months, their routine drags on. Kane allows Helena to explore the house, but catches her anytime she tries to find something to kill herself. Finally, one morning while Kane is out, Helena stumbles into the dining room, which is being laid out for a dinner party. She manages to steal a knife, and just as she heads back to the foyer to go to her room and kill herself, Kane walks into the house, and immediately he knows she stole something. As he gets closer, Helena takes her chance and stabs him, but no matter how hard she swung, the blade barely pierced his chest. She then backed away and tried to stab herself in the neck, but Kane used his resonance to stop her in her place and take the knife from her.
Yeah, that was a jarring part of the book where she was constantly looking for something to kill herself with.
Yeah.
It was kind of absurd, and I won't make a joke about that because I think that's a little irresponsible. But, like, it was very jarring and, like, kind of absurd in a lot of ways. But still, it was like, it did really drive home the vibe right off the rip. Which is definitely, if you're reading this book, if you're recommending this book to someone, if you think you might need to give someone a heads up about all the suicide parts of it, might not be a bad idea to give them a heads up if you think you need.
This is a book that requires content warnings, like between suicide really and sexual assault, and like.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with content warnings. I mean, like, it as good, do your art the way you need to do it, but like sometimes it's okay if like if you have a friend who's like a survivor of sexual assault, you don't like.
This is not the book for them.
You don't just like hand them it and then not tell them what they're getting into. Like, come on,
yeah.
This one's not like gratuitous, but again, don't tell them it's Harry Potter fan fiction, and then when they get to the rape scene, they're like, oh my god.
Yeah, for sure. So having been thwarted, Helena's mundane life in Kane's manor drags on. One day, while reading the newspaper, she learns of an assassination attempt on the governor of the Guild Congress that ended up taking out one of the...
It's Kane Farron.
Undying...
We said spoiler.
You're terrible. This is why you're not allowed to run the podcast. That ended up killing one of the Undying, something no one thought was possible before. I have nothing even to talk about because you fucking spoiled it.
Do you want me to cut that out?
No, I'm going to move on. You know, you got to say what you got to say. I'm glad you enjoyed reading the book, okay? So, Helena takes two things away from this story. One, that members of the Resistance are still alive, and two, there is a way for them to kill the Undying. Now, as Lucas spoils it, there is no member of the Eternal Flame. She's the last one. But at this point, it gives her some hope, and she stops trying to kill herself. At some point, the High Necromancer sends for Cain to bring Helena to him. He's hiding out in this creepy, slimy underground lair that's covered in blood and viscera. It's really giving video game villain boss, like, hideout. It's really given, like, Elden Ring, like, boss hideout, TBH. He's sitting on a throne of necro thralls that are, like, kind of fused together, including the body of one of the members of the royal family. Was it Apollo's body?
I don't remember, but it was something. I remember she recognized it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really did look like a video game boss, and it was like, okay, I'm like, that is so over the top. It does look like a Cannibal Corpse album cover, and I love it.
Yeah, it was like the description of it like really left me like,
it's like they still moving and shit.
Yeah, and it's like breathing, like, oh yeah, it's creepy, big creepy.
I will say the author's creativity helps defray some of the shock of how gruesome and grim some of that stuff is, because that's like the description of the throne and like the way that all the necrothals and the liches and all that move is really interesting.
Yeah. Morrow, the High Necromancer, decides himself to examine Helena's mind. He paws through her memories, but she somehow manages to do some amount of resistance. It's that resistance that makes him
Looks like you got an ear infection.
What?
He's like an ear, nose, and throat doctor. He's giving her an exam, just checking her over, doing a little beeper in the ear. He's like, you got some wax buildup. You need to take care of that.
Okay. It's that resistance.
Looking into her brain through the ears.
Okay. Through the ears. Okay. That's funny. All right, I'll give you that one. It's that resistance that makes him realize that she is an animancer, someone who can, like, control and has resonance for the mind.
Harry, you're an animancer.
This is Hermione.
I know, but if I messed with the quote too much, the whole thing would fall apart.
It would be, you're an animancer, Harry. It's the other way around.
Oh, shit. See, I didn't read the first two books.
Yeah, see, if you would have... First of all, psycho behavior to just start on book 3.
I was a child.
So it's quite possible at this point that Helena has... And this was, like, my guess, and then later it's confirmed. So it's quite possible at this point that Helena has, like, rearranged her own mind so that they can't get her memories. She's even manipulated her own memories so that she doesn't remember that she's an animancer. And I clocked this shit really early. The other thing, remember I told you I clocked really early was, I think Cain Farron and her were friends, like, before the war. And she's, like, blocked it out somehow. I really, like, clocked this book really, really quickly.
You did? I feel like you clocked it quicker than most people would. I do feel like, especially, like, at the first part, some of this is a little predictable.
But I'm an excellent guesser. Like,
yeah, you are.
I guess every single book before the end, which, like, sometimes it's like nothing shocks me, but then when something does, like, the gasp that I gusp is like is a lot. But yeah,
you start screaming like there's an emergency.
I know, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, there was
like,
some book, I don't tell what it is because we haven't issued a spoiler for it, but you just start screaming and yelling. I was playing video games with my brother, and we thought there was a fire or an injury.
Yeah, it's one of the Powerless books.
It was just smut.
Yeah, Powerless isn't smut. It's just longing, lots and lots of longing and sexual tension.
Powerless.
Yeah. So the High Necromancer asks Cain how he could have missed this, that she's an animancer. He reminds Cain that he's failed on other tasks recently, including finding the source of the assassinations. He lets it slip that the way the Undying was killed was using obsidian. He says that one of the Eternal Flame knew that the stone was deadly and that Helena must know who told in the meantime before he was captured. So they're thinking that in Helena's mind somewhere is the secret of who the secret assassin is out there. And theoretically, it kind of is, because Cain's the secret assassin.
But they also, like, never, it does, like, the, and this is, like, a theme throughout, is, like, no one ever suspects that it could be her.
Well, she's under lock and key at Spirefell, right?
No, but before Spirefell, they never, like, even, like, they never consider for a moment that she might have been the one who blew the lab up. or that
No,
she was
they know
behind.
that. No,
or that
they know she
master-
blew the lab up.
Sorry, they did know she blew the lab up, but they never considered for a second that she might have just been the mastermind. Because they're looking for who's like responsible. They're like, oh, we just caught you. We thought you were just with someone, or we thought who made the obsidian? She made the obsidian. Like they never give her credit for the fact that she's actually like secretly one of the people behind all the shit.
Yeah, and I think that's what like part of the Eternal Flame is doing. Remember, because like, and they kind of discuss this a little bit at the end of the book. Is like the Eternal Flame never gives her credit for anything. Like the records on her just show she's like a simple healer. Like not that she's like brilliant. That she's a chemist, that she like comes up with all these new ideas that keep the resistance going for year upon year. So I think this lack of documentation and the fact that she was doing so much espionage is like the reasoning why they never think it's her.
Yeah, I guess so. I do think her never getting credit for the things she does because she's a woman is part of it though.
Yeah, I think it's like the vivimancy plus being a woman, because like I think like and they talk about this a lot with like Lila, like they don't really let female alchemists into positions of power without them having to like give up something like being a parent, you know?
Right. Yeah, she gets sterilized.
Yeah, she gets sterilized. Like Lila's never supposed to have a kid. Like it's just
she had to have a vasectomy, a ladyectomy.
A ladyectomy. A tubal ligation.
That's too long. I mean, like.
I like it. Ladyectomy. I think we should get it into the medical books. Morrow, the High Necromancer, also says that Kane's father has given him information about Helena. Apparently, after the final battle, Helena appeared disguised as a soldier from a nearby kingdom and leveled half a building. This confuses her because the resistance never let her fight, only heal. And the laboratory was a place where one of the leaders of the Undying experimented on those he captured. Turned out one of Helena's dead friends has been converted into an Undying experiment before Helena brought down the entire building. And later we realize that, you know, this is like Lila, and this is like kind of what the High Necromancer and the guild managed to like put together like on the back end. Like they think that she was just like brilliant, like bomber, and she like really is just going in there for like an emotional moment. You know, it's not like this was like a planned assassination on Bennett, who is the experimenter for the High Necromancer. So the High Necromancer uses his own powers then to crack down on Helena and Kane, using his sheer power to crush them into the ground and temporarily stop Kane's heart. After he made his wishes clear, he finally releases Helena and Kane, and they stumble out of his lair. And he's immensely powerful, like way powerful than Voldemort ever was. Like
You're talking Kane, or are you talking Necromancer?
I'm talking Morrow, the High Necromancer.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Voldemort is, you know, like, it's some things like that. Like, you know, they call it power scaling, where it's like, well, could Darth Vader beat, you know, Paul Atreides or whatever? Like, those sorts of things are like power scales. You take people from different universes, you put them up against each other. Harry Potter does, like, the Harry Potter characters are not, they don't scale very well, because it's like, but that doesn't make it any less of fiction. I mean, like, the Elden Ring guys don't scale very well.
Absolutely. Like, I'm just saying that because this is literally Harry Potter fan fiction.
Fair enough. I will just say that, like, Voldemort is really not that scary. He's like, I mean, he's like just kind of like
a crazy murderer. Like, he's like Manson.
Except Manson was amusing. Voldemort's just like, I don't have a nose. Give me back my nose, Harry Potter. You killed my pet snake!
Are you sure you read 4 books?
And you read my diary! I mixed up the letters and you caught me! Would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Take that, J.K. Rowling. Fuck you. So it takes weeks for Helena to recover from this encounter with the High Necromancer. So she has time to think about all the things that she's learned in the past few months. Finally, she asks Kane to come see her so that she can confront him with her theories. She believes that the Undying have secretly been being killed off for weeks. She also believes that the new regime is creating a breeding program because the Undying bodies are damaged and they need to be replaced with new bodies. And if their resonance doesn't match the new body, it doesn't work. Then they can't use the powers they're so accustomed to using, and so they need to breed new matches for the Undying to, like, take over their bodies. And this shit is fucked. Like, this is the most fucked part of the book, is, like, reading about this. Like, when you look...
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
There is, yeah.
Like this, and then like the one part later is these are the most fucked parts of the book. Like when you looked over and you saw like my face and you were like, "Are you okay?" It's like this is what I was reading about.
At that point, that's so dystopian. Like I read somewhere, and don't quote me on this because this is not like a factual, but that SenLinYu, they were inspired by Handmaid's Tale in some ways as well.
Oh,
and some of that ties in with like the breeding program and like the forced.
Yeah, you're right.
Stuff.
It is very close. Yeah. I see it. Because, like, there are parts in, like, the show Handmaid's Tale, not necessarily the book Handmaid's Tale, where they, like, don't do placements of handmaids in certain areas because they don't want to cause, like, strife in the families. And, like, this is very similar, where, like, the commanders go to, like, the handmaids and do the thing that they need to do once a month. It's terrible. So through this process, Helena figures out that they are trying to breed a new body for the High Necromancer, so he's less, like, slimy and rotten and gross. So he clearly is on borrowed time to find a new body that can complement his vast powers. That's the thing, he has vast powers. There are very few options of who could host him and his power. So then Helena asks a question that she really wants to know. She asks Cain to confirm her theory that the High Necromancer's source of power is the Undying. She wants to know if the Resistance figured that out, and that's why they're killing off the Undying. So basically, going back to Harry Potter, the Undying are his Horcruxes. And instead of inanimate objects, it's people. So instead of, like, the diary, this, you know, like all of those, let's see, the diary, the locket.
Did we ever find out what happened to his nose? Or was that just an aesthetic choice that went unexplained?
Aesthetic choice. Oh, no, yes. It's, like, and I think it goes back to Morrow, like, creating all the Horcruxes disfigured his soul and his body. And so, like, same thing with Morrow. Like, he is disintegrating. Because remember, he's, like, if they reveal later, Morrow has lived for hundreds of years. But, like, he couldn't have looked this fucked up for hundreds of years, right? Or else he never could have gotten a following. So, I think, like, creating the Horcruxes, creating the Undying, made him ugly in the way that creating the Horcruxes made Voldemort ugly.
The way that, I don't know if the author did this, but, like, and I don't know if you're very familiar with this universe, but the way that, like, the High Necromancer, being the undisputed king of the whole realm, was, like, rotting on the throne and couldn't get up, reminds me of Warhammer 40k, where there's the Emperor of Mankind. Someone tries to assassinate him, and he barely survives, but he's, like, basically like a corpse that's, like, kept alive, but he has, like, intergalactic magic and shit, so he's, like, the High Necromancer, you know, on steroids. But it's the same idea of, like, the king is basically a corpse stuck to the chair, who's, like, on one hand the most powerful person in the world, but on the other hand, like, can't go outside and take a walk like a normal person can.
Yeah.
They're kind of like a prisoner and a king at the same time.
Yeah. I feel like Morrow is, like, right in place in, like, Elden Ring. I feel like Elden Ring, they're, like, you could, like, drop that, like, depiction of someone there, and
there's no plot in Elden Ring. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying, like, the visuals of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. He reminds me of, like, there's a Bloodborne boss where they, because it's the same company.
Yeah, same company.
Where they try to basically recreate a god by fusing a bunch of dead bodies together.
Oh,
and it comes back to life, and it's like all like, as an audio medium. It's and then there's, like, people at top throwing fire at you, but it's real scary, and he barfs on you.
Ew.
Yeah, it's real, like, they're called, like, the One Reborn or something.
Yeah,
so cool,
yeah, a lot like that. So Cain...
Yeah, I didn't have to bring up Elden Ring. You brought up Elden Ring twice. I'm proud of you, man. We should do this more often.
So Cain confirms that the High Necromancer is dying. As the weeks go by, Helena watches Cain go to and from the house. Each time he returns, he looks more ground down, and she realizes the High Necromancer has been tormenting him each time for not figuring out who the assassin is. Meanwhile, the Undying are unnerved by the recent killings by the hidden rebels. They realize that the killings are imitating their own gruesome murders of Eternal Flame fighters, which is poetic. And you know what? Props to Cain for doing that. While Helena is eavesdropping from a hiding place during a party at the manor, she gets caught by a guy who claimed that he was the reason she was captured in the first place. He drags her into a corner and drugs her, and when she comes to, he's dragging her through the gravel driveway of the manor. As he neared the gate, Cain appeared, knocking him down and kicking him repeatedly. Then he literally pulls his intestines from his body and threatens to strangle him with them if he ever lays a hand on Helena again.
So, okay, here, well, you know what confused me about that? Didn't he... I remember reading all that.
Yeah.
And then there was like a photo in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Did he kill that guy later?
He does. He does immediately after this.
Right. See, that kind of confused me a little bit because, like, we see Cain threaten him, and then we hear that Cain killed him.
Yeah, I don't think Cain wanted to kill him in front of Helena, because you realize Cain does very little killing in front of Helena, especially humans.
I never really put that together. I mean, obviously later there's some battles where he uses his full power.
Yeah, but there's only really that one.
Well, okay, but he does that to protect her, and at this time, this guy in this scene was a legitimate danger to her.
Yes.
This guy was going to really hurt her. I mean,
yes.
So, I mean, the fact that he would have just, like ripped this guy in half like an overdue homework assignment would be on par with what we've seen him do.
Yeah,
and he's real fucked up, Emily.
But
he's already done all the bad stuff.
And we know this later is, like, you know, him and Helena, like, had a thing when she could remember. I just think he doesn't want to do it in front of her. Like, he's trying to be the High Reeve, but also, like, not the High Reeve in front of her. Trying to, like, inspire her to remember a little bit. So he takes Helena to her room, cleans her up, and locks her in for her own safety. The next day, though, Cain's wife, Aurelia, storms into Helena's room with the newspaper in hand.
Just hitting him over the butt with it like a dog.
Turns out that Cain did kill the man, who happened to be somebody Aurelia was having an affair with. Aurelia thought at first that Cain killed him because he and Aurelia were having this affair, but then Aurelia realized that the man had been using her to try to get a hold of Helena. And Cain killed him for harming Helena, not for any reason related to Aurelia. Aurelia came in to seek her revenge and decides that cutting out Helena's eyes and giving them to Cain for his collection will have to do.
You know who she reminds me of when she looks, like, not her personality at all, but I picture her, I always picture her in a green dress like Catherine of Aragon from the musical Six.
I don't think that's Catherine of Aragon who wears the... Catherine of Aragon is the first one with the gold dress.
Oh, not
You're
her.
thinking about Anne Boleyn.
Yeah, the French one.
Yes.
I just picture her looking and talking like that. Obviously, like, the...
I don't picture that at all. I picture her like Amarantha.
Okay, so how do you picture Amarantha?
Like red hair, like the lingerie, like with the bone, like 'cause she has the metal like exoskeleton that she wears that's like a little bit like
horny Skeletor.
Maybe.
Skeletor's always horny. That's redundant.
Is she blonde? I forget.
I
don't remember.
Headcanon. She's blonde.
Yeah, you know, I just care about her like not at all in this series. So Cain isn't there to save Helena in time. Even though he controls the thralls waiting outside the room, Aurelia locked them out so they can't intervene. Just as she pulls one of Helena's eyes out, the room explodes, and the house itself, which is laced with iron, which Cain has an affinity for, grabs and crushes Aurelia. After some time, Cain enters the house. He somehow saw what was happening from the city and transmuted the metal in the home to stop Aurelia. And that sort of power should have disintegrated him. So we get at this point that there's something unnatural going on with his strength levels. Cain stops first to try to heal Helena's eyes with her guidance, and then he pries Aurelia from the metal and puts her body back together, threatening to slowly kill her if she even looks at Helena again. Just as Helena is on the mend, a Vivimancer from the central office comes to check her over and reveals that during Helena's monthly checkups, the Vivimancer has been reversing her tubal ligation, making her fertile again. The High Necromancer wants her to enter the breeding program and to have a child that can serve as his new body. And I kind of, like, having finished the book and kind of seeing, like, what happens with this eventual baby, it, like, makes me devastated. Like, it's even more emotional that this is, like, something that she's being put through, is like imagining that character that we get to know later, like being possessed by Voldemort. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. I think that's where this book turned a bit of a, like, the dark corner for me. That's when I was like, they're not going to actually do it, are they? They're not going to.
Yeah, she's going to get saved, or Cain's like going to, get her out or something like
and I'm
that.
like, well, then she's not going to get pregnant. And I'm like, oh God, wow, they went there. That was a little bit like, oh, they are. This author is down to clown.
Yeah. And, further, the High Necromancer orders Cain to try to be the father of the child and gives him 2 months to get Helena pregnant. After a few weeks, Helena notices something in the house is wrong. Her dinner didn't arrive, and there's no sign of Cain. She wanders the house wondering if he's been killed by an Eternal Flame assassin. And as she looks, she realizes that it is Ascendance, the time where the planet Lumithia, associated with power and resonance, is at its most powerful. Powerful wielders feel intoxicated during this time of the year. Helena finds Cain in his room. He's drunk both from the Ascendance and from alcohol. Cain approaches her and grabs her by the wrist, backing her into the wall. He says, "If I'd known what pain you'd cause me, I never would have taken you. But at this point, I suppose I deserve to burn. I wonder if you'll burn too." And then he kisses her. And fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. Like, you can't just, like, be trying to be like, romance, blah, 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 kiss, kiss, kiss. Even if you have this thing before, and I stopped and I said this to you. Yeah. Like, unforgivable.
Is this after she gets raped?
This is before.
I thought it was before. Okay.
Yeah. Like, everything that he does to her, like, theoretically, even if they would have known something like this would have happened, and when she had her full faculty, she said, "It's okay, I consent." It's not consensual. It's not consensual. And I think, like, I'm really glad that the author does, like, make Cain feel bad for this later, and, like, make this plague him for years. Like, for years he feels bad about it. And I know that she says, like, she forgives him, but, like, this is just really unforgivable behavior that he engages in. It sucks. I like, don't get people who stand Cain Farron.
Right. So at this part, I think we kind of knew he was going to be a main character. At this part, did you think he could ever be redeemed?
I don't think he ever is redeemed.
I'm not saying he was.
No, I didn't think he was redeemable. I told you. I said I'm not going to forgive him. I'm never going to be like, "Ooh, Cain Farron." Like, no.
Yeah. Well, I also don't think... I think that if you are like, "Ooh, Cain Farron," I think you have missed the point of this book.
Yes.
Like, I really think that, like, it's okay to be like, oh, have like a bit of a dark, sexy man. I always hate on the male main characters because, again, they get away with all kinds of evil shit. My point is, like, it's cool to do that with, like, Rhysand or, like, Cassian or, like, some of the other people we've talked about, but, like, if you're doing that with Cain Farron, you really miss something.
Yeah. Like, if you're into, like, silver daddies, like, just go play Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. You can find yourself someone who's, like, a kind of grumpy, mean, over-the-top guy who isn't this.
No.
Again, that's not the point. I actually think
Cain is bad. Period.
He is bad. I will say I think he's an incredibly well-written character.
Agreed.
He's very, very well-written. Because, like, I found myself sympathizing with him a lot, even though I'm like, I can never forgive this guy. I still felt like, wow, this guy didn't have to be like this. If he wasn't forced into if he wasn't in this situation, if his mom hadn't been, like, captured and he was forced to do all this bad stuff and be forced down this road, he'd probably be a normal guy living a normal life.
Yeah, I just, like... I don't get his choices.
It doesn't make it okay.
I don't get why after his mom dies, he, like, isn't actively fighting. I know he can't join the Eternal Flame, but, like, why he doesn't actively try to fuck up Morrow. Like, well, I don't get it.
You can make the argument that he did.
Yeah, but he does it through espionage and through, like, continuing to work on the side of the guild and the High Necromancer. Like, he advances their cause to the point that they win the war. Like, I don't know why he's not just, like, fucking strapping in and trying to kill him at every turn, and he's not really doing that. He never takes a shot at Morrow. He never does.
That's a good point. Yeah, he never does.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, Lila is who kills Morrow. He never once takes a shot at Morrow.
I'm glad we did a spoiler warning. I did not expect Lila to kill Morrow. I thought it was going to be Helena.
Yeah, I did too, but you know what? We'll get around to it.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So, Helena flees back to her room and tries to kill herself, because that's what she's doing at this point in the book. But Cain stops her, ripping her emotions out of her with his resonance and healing her wounds. Again, I don't like this. I don't like the stealing of the emotions. Like, yeah, she's going through something terrible, and, like, it has to feel awful for him to see his, like, beloved, like, going through these terrible feelings and wanting to kill herself. But, like, again, it's not consensual. It's not forgivable. Like, I'm not into it.
In a vacuum, that would be forgivable. If someone is suicidal and you believe that by pulling their emotions out, you can save them, that's forgivable.
Yeah, but, like, he caused it by, like, kissing her, and then
right.
yeah. So later, when the Vivimancer arrives to examine her again, she determines that Helena is pregnant. And this is the point where I yada yada the rape scenes. I just don't want to go into it. It's just really upsetting.
Sure.
So this sends Helena into a spiral that is so deep that Cain just knocks her out cold.
Not it's important. I'm not saying this to be flippant, but not physically, right?
No, he uses Vivimancy to knock her out. Yeah.
Right, because he does hit her later. And that I want to talk about later when we get to that point.
During a later appointment, the Vivimancer reveals that she believes this baby will be a powerful Animancer. But when an Animancer is conceived, it takes a heavy toll, as far as they know, on the mother. When the High Necromancer was born, he sucked all the life from his mother and was born from her corpse on the funeral pyre. According to his own lore, I don't believe this for a second. The Vivimancer thinks it is certainly possible that Helena will die in birth too. Just carrying this child will kill her. And I think it's telling that they never have another child again. So I think there is the toll, because later they kind of dispute that the toll is real, and I think the toll is semi-real, because why wouldn't they have had more kids?
It is worth mentioning that the author has a child.
Oh,
in terms of because that's what they say in the back of the book, is that this book came from writing notes when their baby was asleep.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So I wonder if just the amount of because having a child is a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Making a human being is a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I wonder if some of it's there's
that's interesting.
Real life experience of, and it's postpartum depression and stuff. There's a lot of emotional issues that go with pregnancy and whatnot as well. So it's not just a physical thing.
Yeah.
As a pregnancy expert.
Yeah, I was going to say, as you know. And Helena does start fading away. The life is sucked from her day by day until she's almost dead. She flits in and out of consciousness as life happens around her. And one night, while she's letting go, Cain begs her to stay, but she slips away. But then she's jolted back into consciousness with a blast of adrenaline. I think he hits her with an adrenaline drug. They don't say it in the book.
Right, the kind of stuff she uses on other people. Yeah.
And her memories race with bits and images and quotes swirling through her head before she passes out. And that is the end of part 1. And part 2 is when we get the flashback, right? Now she has unlocked all of these things in her memory that happened during the war.
This book is more flashback than book.
It is, and I love it.
Yeah, how do you feel about how it's written like that?
I like it, but it's if it wasn't written that way, it would be 75% of the book that it is now, lengthwise. Yeah,
I wonder what because I feel the biggest thing that would change would be how people feel about Cain Farron.
Yeah, well, and what happens in exactly how people feel about Cain Farron and what happens in part 1. Because if she comes to and she remembers everything with Cain Farron, then it's oh, you guys have to have a baby. That's well, okay, we'll essentially have sex, but then we're gonna figure out how to get out of here. I think it would have changed the dynamic of the book completely.
I believe this is true. It's purely from Helena's perspective, right? We don't get any chapters where it's Lila's off doing adventures or Cain's off doing adventures.
No, it's all from
purely
Helena's
Lila's perspective.
Yeah.
Sorry, purely Helena's perspective.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. That makes sense. It was an interesting way to write it. But I think the way that it was written like that, again, the biggest difference is Cain Farron. Because if you start off the book where the memories begin and just do it linearly, front to back, no flashbacks.
Yeah, he might grow on you. You might like him.
Well, even if she has that memory loss, but you as the reader have seen that, it's also good. That's going to make the end of the book weird.
Yeah, and I think it makes what happens to Cain more tragic instead of what's happening to Helena tragic.
Yeah, I think the way that it was written makes it very tragic
for Helena.
Definitely tragic for Helena, but the tragedy's not lost on either of them either.
No, and but it takes some thinking to get there. The whole time you're just inundated by the terrible things that are happening to her. This whole book from beginning to end, she's not one happy moment really.
Yes, yeah, I agree. I mean, so far she's had not a single happy moment. There's a couple happy moments in the flashback.
Not many.
But not many.
Yeah. So part 2,
smoking opium with Luke on the roof.
I mean, even then it gets tainted in the end,
Yeah, he's I was just hanging out with him, smoking opium. Okay, why do you keep bringing it up? And then we find out why they keep bringing it up. Yeah.
So part 2, we were saying, is a flashback to the war. Helena is working as a healer in the hospital on the side of the losing resistance, the Eternal Flame. At one point, she's brought into a meeting with some of the heads of the resistance, and they tell her that Cain Farron, murderer of the previous leader, offered to spy on behalf of the resistance. In exchange, he wants a full pardon for all of his wartime activities, and the leaders tell Helena that his other term is that he wants Helena both now and after the war. So right up front, they're like pretty much selling her for the resistance.
Yeah, I do like that the resistance also sucks, but it's clear that there is a good side and a bad side.
Yes.
It's like the holdfasts are clearly like not necessarily like the holdfasts are the bad part, but like their side is bad too.
Yes.
They take advantage of her. They also like just do not give a shit about her.
No, and no one ever does, and that's the thing that's really sad. Like, and we'll talk about it when we talk about the last couple chapters, but it's like she never, ever, ever gets the recognition she deserves.
I also like now they explain this later, and we'll talk more about it. I still don't. It doesn't make sense to me why Cain asked for her.
I can explain it. Yeah.
Okay, because even when they tried to explain it later, I'm like, that still doesn't make sense.
Basically, like, he thinks that if he just asks for pardon, like, they're not going to believe that he actually wants to work with them and think that he is spying on behalf of the High Necromancer on the Resistance.
Sure.
And so he needs to ask for, like, and they're going to think they have nothing to control him with. Like, that he's just doing the Farron shit of trying to get ahead. He's playing both sides. So he realizes he has to give them something that makes them think they have something to control him with. And so he asks for Helena so that they think that he's obsessed with her and that if they control Helena, they can control him.
Yeah, see, that was...
It's giving them a false sense of security.
Sure, I mean, I remember that being the explanation they gave, but I'm like, what, so he just picks a random girl he went to college with?
He did, because he didn't want them to have that control. So he's like, she's supposed to be a decoy, and then he ends up falling in love with her.
Yeah, I get that. I just feel like that's a bit of a rookie mistake. It's like, let me pick this one person that I'm certain I won't fall in love with. Like, oops, looks like I did. Like, you know what I mean? Just like it just.
Well, they never really like met. They never really talked. Like, and he thought that it would look like classic Cain Farron trying to be spiteful because Helena is best friends with Luke. You know, so like, oh, it looks like he's being spiteful to try to take away Luke's best friend.
I guess so.
So it fits his character.
Sometimes authors make decisions because I think that this is what characters would do in real life, and sometimes they make decisions because it advances the plot. I think this is one of those ones that just advances the plot because I'm like, even with all that, I'm like, well, did he know that? Did he even really run in their circles? Like they weren't like. I'm like,
well, they were 1 and 2 on the like list.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they were friends.
But Luke is
rivals.
like the Principate or the Principate in waiting at that point. So like
Sure,
everyone knows him and his clique, you know.
I guess so.
And the guild people hate her because she's like one of the Holdfast pets. You know,
he could have just said Lila then if he really wanted to fuck with Luke.
Well, he couldn't ask for the head paladin.
I guess so. I guess so. Again, I still think it's like it's a weird decision that he just happened to pick her randomly and then fell in love with her. That still strikes me as odd, but I'll let it slide because again, like you got to advance the plot, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes characters make decisions that don't make sense. And sometimes humans in real life make decisions that don't make sense.
Yeah. I think it's like for him, he's like, oh, this like mousy, nerdy girl like is never someone who I could fall in love with or like have a thing for. And then it just ends up being the opposite. So Helena is shocked by the request, and she says that she doesn't even really know Cain Farron. She says that if this is the only option to keep the Eternal Flame from losing the war, she'll do it. And to start, they'd make Helena agree to meet with Farron as a liaison for him and the Resistance twice weekly. And they order her to seduce him or use her powers to enthrall him. So, like, we just get over the part where, like, the High Necromancer is like literally pimping her out, and we go right to the Eternal Flame pimping her out.
Yeah, her body's she's never really in control of her body throughout the whole time. Even, especially when she wakes up, they put the cuffs on her and everything. Like her time is completely occupied by the hospital. Like that's where I do think it connects to some of the Handmaid's Tales. Like her presence, her body, like everything that kind of like doesn't really belong to her.
No.
Even when she's on the right side of history, it's like, or the right side of the war, it's like those people still don't care about her.
No. Helena is called to her first meeting with Cain. Instantly, as a reader, we notice that this is a like brighter and more vibrant version of Cain Farron. He's more playful, more teasing, and he plays a little bit coy with Helena. And he gets kind of right to the point and says, I will give you information if you give me a kiss. For Helena, this is a moment for her to use her resonance to gauge him and how he's feeling. And as they kiss, she feels the extent of the changes made to him as one of the undying. Once he pulls away, Cain gives her a tarnished silver ring that he's spelled to communicate with her. This is a ring that Helena notices on him earlier in the book, in part 1, that he's wearing this tarnished silver ring. Yeah, and like at that point in the book, like Cain had let her take his ring off to like examine it and like watching her to see if there's a reaction. So like this whole part of the book is making the peculiarities and like the weird moments in book 1 like make sense. So for weeks, Cain and Helena get together and they train Helena's mind to resist being read through his resonance. Cain reveals that the guild forces have a leader, Bennett, who has been doing all kinds of scientific experiments, and as part of that, he has been training Cain to resist mind reading. Cain uses those same methods to train Helena. One week, when Helena is foraging in the woods for medical supplies, she comes across guild forces leading this large beast into the wetlands. The beast is a chimera, some kind of weird combination between giant dog, cat, and reptile, and each chimera is different combination of different animals. Just as Helena crawls through the muck to get away, her ring burns twice, meaning that Cain is calling her to him immediately. When she arrives, she tells Cain that she already knows about the chimera. He asks her how, and she explains that every week she goes into the wetlands to forage for her own supplies. He tells her that she's no longer allowed to do that, and since he owns her, he has the last say, which is a dick move. He asks Helena like what kind of weapon she takes with her when she goes out, and she says
the pen is mightier than the sword, so I don't take anything.
Yeah, pretty much. And she has no significant combat training. Cain tells her that that won't do and that he will need to train her.
How to use a pocket snake.
She's not really interested in taking any physical combat, though, and she's realizing that the point of her interactions with Cain are being lost in whatever side quest he's trying to accomplish at that moment. She was supposed to come in and seduce him, and instead she's getting personal training advice from him.
We're doing push-ups.
Yeah.
We're doing burpees. We're doing push-ups. We're hitting the bag.
He kind of reads on her face and asks if she's disappointed that he wants to do something other than her. And she, in an attempt to hurt him, throws back in his face that he probably has to pay for it, you know. And when he tries to make her strip to teach her a lesson, she says something...
That's fucked up, too.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah, like, again, unforgivable. He does fucked up shit from the beginning.
Yeah, from the beginning.
It's like a bad power dynamic.
Has he beat her up yet?
No.
Okay.
Actually, yes, I think they had their first fight already. She says something that strikes Cain to his heart. She tells him that he gets off on hurting people, and that is the only way that he feels anything. In that moment, Cain loses control. And when an alchemist loses control, they can completely atomize the things that they have powers over. As a Vivimancer, that means Cain could completely vaporize Helena, and he tells her to get out, and she runs as fast as she can. Finally, after weeks of enduring Cain's mercurial moods, Helena finally gathers intel that pays off from Cain. Cain tells her that the High Necromancer and a third of the Undying would be out of the country in the coming week, so if the rebels were going to regain any ground, that would be the time. The rebels take full advantage of this intel and manage to seize almost the entire island, including a laboratory that contained vital medical equipment that the hospital ran out of. And that's a reoccurring
theme. Was the
theme.
docks, right? That's when they seized the
docks.
docks.
Yes, the docks and another facility. That's like a reoccurring theme here is like the hospital is a fucked place to be. Like they never have enough materials. There's always people dying. Like Helena's constantly doing triage. It's not like a nice and pleasant situation for her to be in.
Yeah, one thing the thing this book does that made me struggle to finish it, and it made it take so long, because I've been teasing that I've been working on this for like 2 months. The thing that made it unpleasant to read is also what made it a good book in some ways. Whereas, like, just there's just hundreds of pages of them doing the same shit. Spending time in the hospital. Like, this book, you could have conveyed this plot in 750 pages. It's 1,000. Easily in 750 pages, everything would have got across the same way. But I think one thing the author does that makes it feel a lot more... You actually feel what the main character's feeling is she's constantly in this dirty, underfunded hospital and fixing people, and she's tired, and she's tired, and she's tired. And it's never glamorous. It's never glorious.
No.
Like, a lot of fantasy books glamorize what it would be like to be in a rebellion or...
Yeah.
What, like, and this is just, like, it's just...
No. There's no food. There's no supplies. Like, and it just... People dying.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting to read it. When I got to the end of the book, I was ready. Again, like, sometimes, like, that's the thing about, like, art is, like, it feels like shit when you're in the middle of it, and then you get done with it, and you're like, oh, well, they had to do that. You know, this author had to make that middle of the book such just a slog through the hospital. I know I'm harping on this point, but because when you and I talked, when I was reading it, I know that was a criticism I had of the book, but as I thought about it more, the fact that it's so tedious and so unpleasant, and you're never seeing... And, like, she remarks at some point that, like, in the hospital, it always feels like we're losing.
Yes. Yeah, and I was thinking about this, like, how many times do you think Helena patched people up for them to keep fighting? Like, how much faster do you think this war would have been over if it hadn't been for Helena? Like, so much faster. Because at the end, they have almost no one left. Like, Helena must have, like, patched up every single person who was in the final fight.
Right, because for a while, it sounds like she's the only healer.
Yeah. For a while she is, and then they bring on her proteges.
But the replacements suck for a while, because they're just,
they don't know.
They're noobs. They're cadets or whatever. So, yeah, it's... Again, it really... I know I keep harping on that point, but it drives it home so much to the point where you're like, this ain't worth it. Yeah.
So, like, growing up, I watched a lot of the show MASH, which is about the Korean War and about, like, the combat medics. Not combat medics, but, like, the medical facility... Field hospitals in the Korean War. And there's this episode... And it's, like, a comedy, but there's some parts of it that are very serious. And there's, like, an episode where they're celebrating New Year's in North Korea where, like, Hawkeye, like, breaks down and is like, I can't do this for another year. You know? And, like, the episode starts on one New Year and ends on, like, another New Year's. And it's like, oh, I've been here a whole year and I just keep piecing these people together for what? And, like, that's what this made me think about. Like, I was thinking about MASH while I was reading this book.
That's a good way to think of it. Although, like, MASH has, like, so much camaraderie and they're all, like, buddies and there's quips and jokes. And this is just like, hey, man, this guy got his fucking skin peeled off. It's real fucked up.
Yeah, yeah. Put it back on. Like, he's heavy metal poisoning and, like, you can't heal him. And it's like, ugh. After, when Helena has her next meeting with Cain, he looks like he's practically dead. Helena asked him what happened, and he said that the High Necromancer wasn't too pleased with the commander that lost all the ports. He was that commander. He asked Helena if they have enough men to hold the ground that they've gained, and Helena doesn't want to reveal rebel secrets, so she says that they made enough progress. And that's, like, a reoccurring theme is, like, Cain is asking Helena, like, are you guys going to win this? Are you guys going to win this? Like, over and over again, and she never tells him where they're at. And so, like, he never knows how much to do to help because he just, like, doesn't... I think he overestimates the strength of the Eternal Flame. And Helena just doesn't tell him, like, no, we're in dire straits.
Right, which is the right call. Knowing what Helena knows and knowing the position she's in, that's the right decision.
It's the right call. It's the right call, but it's like, ugh, like, he never takes a shot at Morrow. Maybe, like, if he would have known how desperate the situation is, like, maybe he would have, you know.
Do we ever find out how Morrow gets killed? Like, how?
Yes, and we'll talk about it.
Helena... Oh, I do. I remember that.
Yeah. Helena orders Cain to sit down so that she can take a look at whatever's keeping him from healing. Remember, he's undying, so he just should naturally regenerate. In his back, Bennett, who is the scientist, fused metal into his body and used alchemical sigils to try to work some weird pseudoscience on Cain. He was trying to imbue Cain with certain alchemical qualities, but this kind of methodology isn't really used on humans, and as a result, Cain's body was being siphoned of power and could not heal itself. Helena does her best to try to make Cain more comfortable, but it'll take days of work just to make a dent in this weird metal pseudoscience, and she doesn't really know how these sigils work. They agreed to get together and meet every day for the next 8 days so that Helena can try to fix Cain. She wasn't going to let him just suffer and die for doing the right thing for once. One night, when trying to heal Cain, Helena gets a strange idea to use her Sunstone talisman, which was gifted to her by a resistance leader, to try to heal Cain. Sunstone is said to hold power, and so she thinks like, well, maybe there's some like power in this that has been keeping me strong as a healer that will help me fix Cain. She describes this hunch as pure intuition. She noticed that when she was wearing the talisman, she felt more powerful, her healing abilities stretched out longer, and she tried to transmute the talisman to look like something else, and the sunstone dropped from the setting, shattering on the floor. But what seeped out was this quicksilver-like metal with a strange, warm resonance. Helena picks it up, and her resonance instantly knows what to do with it. She pushes it into Cain's chest, and he gets warmer. When he wakes up, his eyes look brighter, and she can tell he's getting better, and the strange silver liquid has counteracted the alchemical experiment done on him. As Cain heals, he begins to spill the secrets of the Undying to Helena. He tells her that the Undying are linked to the High Necromancer, something that we learned earlier in the book, but this is earlier in the timeline. And like Necrothralls, they can't go too far away from him or they'll die. That is, unless he leaves them with fragments of his bones that they're tied to. So, in some way, like, the bone fragments are their Horcruxes, like, that have the portion of the soul in it. So Helena asks what would happen if Cain stole his bone fragment, and Cain said that if it were possible, the fragment would deteriorate over time, so there's not really a point in him trying to steal it. The Undying is, like, such a misleading name in this book, because these people are, like, bound like Horcruxes to the High Necromancer, but he's dying too. So it sounds like he's going to take them all when he goes. Like, it's just, like, what makes them Undying is that they regenerate really fast, but not actually that, like, immortal life was achieved here.
Yeah, it's almost like selling your soul to the devil for quote-unquote eternal life. Like, you don't actually get it. You just get some weird, bastardized form of life.
Yeah. So weeks after Helena first healed him with the silver pool, the unchanging, undying Cain begins to change. First, his hair starts to turn the exact silver of the healing metal, and his eyes get this silvery sheen. And of course, once he feels better, he gets right back to pushing her boundaries and being an asshole. One day, before she leaves, he demands that he go back to training with her. Instead of attacking her, he sends a horde of Necrothralls at her. Though she tells him multiple times to stop, he has the thralls back her into a corner until she unleashes her power, disintegrating them into a red mist.
Ah! Hold the hands out.
Yeah.
Ah!
Your favorite trope. As she continues to have a meltdown, Cain cleans her up, takes her to a shower, and gives her clean clothes. When she comes out, she is steaming and ready to tell him off. She downs a few shots of liquor, spilling his expensive stuff on the floor, and she tells him she hates it and that this entire war is his fault. He takes it on the chin, and instead he takes this opportunity to ask her some questions, like when she discovered she was a Vivimancer. She explains that after the guild forces enacted a massacre on all the field hospitals, that's when she found out. Feeling drunk and a little more bold, she asks Cain whether he can still feel the alchemical experiment done to him. He says that he can, and it's changing who he is as a person. Helena asks what Bennett was trying to do with that design, and Cain reveals that he was the one who invented it. He asked to design it as proof of his penance for losing the battle against the rebellion. And this array, like, it increases certain qualities in him, and they're not good qualities. You know, they're pretty bad qualities. So, that's kind of like where I think we should maybe leave off part 1 and
I think
go
you
into
could have
part 2.
gotten like right at the 500-page mark. It is like weird to like. There's like not like an easy 50% stopping point.
No, like we discussed it so much of like, well, where's like the good place to start, because this is like a 3-part book, and like you stop at part 1, that's too early. Stop at part 2, that's too late. You know,
part 3 is pretty short.
Yeah,
especially because it's like the epilogue is pretty extended.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah. I mean, next episode will definitely be an exciting one, though. I feel like we're getting into, like, all of the, like, big action next book.
Yeah, we are. You know, we get some battle scenes next episode, and the battle scenes were good. I remember enjoying.
I agree.
Some of those. So
we get the less upsetting spicy scenes next part of the book.
I guess so. Yeah. It doesn't. It's still pretty dour.
Yeah. Agreed.
So you and I really haven't talked about this book before this podcast.
No, we haven't. So
what did you like this book?
I really liked it. I I thought it was good, but boy, it fucking hurt my feelings. Like, if I wasn't in a good place mentally, I wouldn't read this book because it just is so depressing. But it's so well done. You know, I think a lot of fantasy books we end up with like, and then they live happily ever after, and like Aelin Galathinius takes back her kingdom, and da-da-da-da. It's like that's not always how like life goes. It doesn't always have that nice like bow on it at the end. So I like this book because it was like the way that it ends is like it's not fair and it's unsettled, but that's real life.
Yeah, and it's a lot of times like rebellions are like portrayed as, and I know I keep harping on this point, but they're often portrayed as like a fun adventure club.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you actually read about rebellions, like no, they have
no
this food,
sucks. Yeah.
No supplies. People are stabbing each other in the back.
Yeah.
Like they're just like a half step better than the enemy sometimes. Like
yeah.
It's a rough go of things. And like even like the idea of war, it's not like a fun magic war where everyone's going bah, 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 with their magics. It's
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
Or
there's like one battle to end them all, right? Like it's not grueling.
It's not cool. It's not sexy. It's not fun. It is true to the nature of, and even the way it ends. Like I mean, like since we can do spoilers for the second half, like they don't kill Moro. They don't finish the striking blow. They don't even finish the war. I would argue they get as close to winning the war as you possibly can, and that's just getting away from it.
Yeah.
And being safe and like
yeah, that's the only thing that they could do. But we'll talk more about that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Part 2. So thank you for tuning in for part 1, and we'll see you again for our next episode.
All right, guys, we will see you. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.